Hi guys, here with yet another wonderful video. Okay, this is chapter 18. So everything in this chapter, kind of like the last 5 or 6 chapters, I can't even remember at this point, it's all based off of this model. Notice it looks a lot like that normal model, and that's because it pretty much is a normal model, but one key thing, this is made from a sample. Normal model is made from the whole entire population. So, student T is what we call it, or the whatever his name is, T. Just remember, the letter T is the key thing here, okay? So first, let's go over the formal formulas. You have the standard deviation of T for the student T model is equal to the standard deviation of the population over the square root of the number of the population, or the number of the sample in this case, sorry. So, why don't we use this formula? Because, well, what's the standard deviation for people who do something out of 300 million people in the United States? Kind of hard to know the exact standard deviation. So this is why we kind of use the calculator, and this is also the reason why we use the student T model, because we really don't need the entire population. The standard error is the same formula, except this time you're doing the standard error of T would be the standard deviation of T over the square root of n. Pretty easy stuff here. The next one you would have is T of n minus 1. N minus 1, by the way, is the degrees of freedom. That's the thing, degrees of freedom. Okay, and that's y bar, which is simply your average, minus mu naught, which is kind of like your, like your HO. It's that base number you have. Okay, all this over the standard deviation of this y bar. Okay, this is pretty much, excuse me, this is like if you have a list of numbers, y bar would be the mean, and the standard error of y hat would be, well, y bar would be the standard error of mean. Okay. The next formula we have here is the t score is equal to, say, some d bar minus 0 over the standard error of d bar. Again, d bar is kind of like the same thing as y bar. It's just letter average. Okay, easy. Look at them one more time. If you really want to, write them down. I really don't care. I don't think he'll ever give us any of these formulas because they're just ridiculous and overcomplicated, and you can do everything in your calculator, like I'll show you in a minute. Speaking of calculators, here are the 3 things you'll be using for this chapter. Pretty easy. T-test, T-interval, and the inverse T. Boom. Okay? Let's turn this bad boy on. Okay, here's what we're going to do. To find the T and T-interval, we just go to Stat, go to Test, and look, hey look, T-test is number 2. And you have 2 options, it's data or stats. Basically, if he gives you a list of numbers, say, let's make up a list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All you do is edit, put in a list. Here's one of the homework assignments. Right there, that's the list. Second mode, stat tests, go down to t-test, and click on data. Put in your mu naught, which is usually 0, your list, your frequency, and then equal to, greater than, or less than. Here's something very important. I forgot to mention this earlier. This stuff, the greater than, the less than, all that thing, the mu naught, keep in mind, is the x. So, when it says less than, or when it says this, it's going to end up being mu is greater than x. Okay? And I'll show you that right now. I'm going to click enter. Actually, no. We're going to click here. See? Right now it says mu naught is less than some number. When we click calculate, you'll notice right at the top, mu is greater than 0. Mu naught is your, I guess, actually it shows you. Mu naught is right here. See it? Mu naught, mu naught. It just, instead of putting the 0, because the mu naught changes. Okay, be careful. I've actually gotten questions wrong like this on the homework because of that. Thank you, Maddie, by the way. It's a boss thing of you to do. In any case, yeah, that's if you have data, put it into your list. Do this right here. This is your stuff, okay? If you don't have a list, which is hopefully the easier type of question in my opinion because less work, you just type in the mu naught, you type in your average. He has to give you all of this stuff, by the way. The mu naught is actually something you pick, well, technically pick, I guess, or he gives it to you. Either way, it's, remember, the mu naught would be like your x in this equation. HO mu equals x. So, your mu naught is like that x. Oh, it's not showing up very well because of the light. Okay, there it goes. You have your x bar, which is your average. Your s of x is your standard deviation of this x. Okay, The n is your number of things. Jesus, this is showing up terribly. Okay, and then again, you have the mu is not equal to, greater than, or less than. Okay? And you just click calculate, and, oh, wait, no, that's not right, is it? Wrong button. Enter. You just go down all the way and click calculate. And guess what? It gives you your t-score, it gives you your p-value, it gives you your x-bar, it gives you your s of x again, it gives you your n. So, it's quite simple. That's that. Okay, next would be the t interval, which is actually exactly number 8. Press enter. Okay, and it's the same thing. You can either do data and use a list, and it gives you your confidence level right here, or you can use your stats, and they give you all of these numbers in the question. Okay, we could calculate. Either way, it's it's going to give you your interval at that certain confidence interval, and it'll give you all your information you need. This is actually my favorite type of question because it's a piece of cake. Okay, second, the last part is the inverse t. Some of your guys' calculator don't have it, so you're going to have to use the inverse norm. First, let's look at inverse t. Area is just your alpha, which I forgot to write it down. If you look right here, alpha is drawn just like this. Is equal to 1 minus CL. Space. Okay, and this is your area. Okay, if you have a two-tailed test, basically not equal to, you just do alpha over 2. Okay, so there's your area, and your degrees of freedom would actually be n minus 1. Easy peasy. Okay, type in some random numbers. It's probably not going to work. Okay, calculate, and calculate. Yeah, there you go. Error because I made up some random numbers here. But if the numbers are correct, it won't say domain. It'll give you your answer. Sorry about that. I don't have I don't have something prepared for you right here. If you don't have the inverse t, you're gonna have to use the inverse norm, which is basically same area, same exact formula. 1 minus confidence level. You're also gonna be giving them mu, which is some random number that you were either given in the problem or you're forced to create, which usually, if you're forced to create, is 0, and you also give them a standard deviation. After that, you click paste, and it gives you a very close number. If you have to use the inverse norm, round to 1 decimal place. So, say it gives you 0.12345, just round 0.12, because inverse norm is going to be a little bit off to inverse t. Obviously, being a little bit off is better than being absolutely in the shit and not having the answer. I think we would all agree on that. And the last thing I noticed is that people don't really know how to draw this weird number letter thing, mu. Okay? And alpha. I'll show you guys how to draw it. How to draw the letter mu. I have a simple way to do it. One line, and then draw the letter U. Look at that. Pretty close. One line, letter U. Okay? That's all you need to do. Remember that it's mu. It's like M-U. Right? You're literally going to be drawing a combination of the two. Alright, for alpha,